Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Eden Zero, chapter 204. When we last left our heroes, before we got to the big, series-shaking reveal, we had a bit more time inside of Crow, as Jean and Laguna revealed that they could use their ether gear as a result of Clean's wind snatch ability, destroying the ether jammer. And so Holy was able to use her ether gear to melt the, personality matrix thing of Crow, allowing the trio to head deeper inside and do what damage they can from within Crow. Meanwhile, Rebecca, Wise, and Homura are working on moving the mothers, and then Shiki, continuing his fight with Ziggy, learns that Ziggy is himself. And in a bit of a flash-forward, flashback thing, we continue the 20,000 years later storyline, basically confirming, it's not outright said, but basically confirming that Ziggy is the Shiki from Universe 2, had he not successfully escaped from Neuro 66 and been blasted and been in hibernation or stasis for 20,000 years, which is an interesting thing to me. I'm gonna pause here before I dive into the chapter proper, because the normal emotional crux or thematic crux of these kinds of evil me from the future is the villain storylines is can the heroes change that point in the future to stop the hero from becoming evil? But here that's already happened. Shiki has already not become Ziggy. That moment was in the past. So I'm curious what Mashima's point with all this is, but I guess that all just remains to be seen. Like Zhao Mei once said, time doesn't mean much in this series, so we'll see exactly what's going on there. So let's dive right on into chapter 204.0. And our picture here is Pino and Happy in this RPG style setup. Pino uses EMP attack, Happy's systems are shut down. It's a cute little thing, not really important. But point 0 is where we pick up. We pick up right where we left off, with Shiki questioning, "You're me? From 20,000 years in the future? What are you talking about?" To be precise, I am a Shiki from an alternate universe. You are the Shiki of Universe 3. And Shiki has some knowledge of the concept of alternate universes, but he's still taken by surprise at that. Alternate universe? Before you ask, the Shiki from Universe 1 was killed by Draken. And then we flash back to the end of the Aoi War. Remember the explosion on planet Nero 66 3 years ago? That is where it all began. You had the choice to run from or stop the explosion. And we flash back to there in Universe 2, as Ziggy is told Shiki what he's about to do and then zips away on the video screen. "What do you mean bombs?" And Rebecca questions, "The bombs Shora and Nero were just talking about?" And Pino just mutters, 20,000 antimatter bombs on this planet. Detonation in 20 minutes. And Happy's focused on escape as he was in the past. "We have to hurry and get out of here." But Shiki protests, "Wait, can't we stop them?" And Pino tells him it would be impossible. The terminal is down. He used the independent all-link system network to activate them. And Shiki just questions, what's going to happen to the planet? "I estimate it will be destroyed." But there are lots of people on this planet. And Rebecca, just like back at the end of the Aoi War, stops him. "I know how you feel, Shiki, but there's nothing we can do." "No, I'm going to stop it." And Rebecca yells, "Shiki, we have to get out if we want to live." And we see Ziggy continue to tell Rebecca, we see Ziggy telling Shiki in the present, "You are the Shiki who chose to get out." Whereas Shiki 2 tells her, "No, I'll stop it. I am the Shiki who chose to stop the explosion. I use my gravity power to compress all 20,000 bombs in an attempt to destroy them. But then something happened. Something we couldn't have foreseen. When my gravity was compressed as far as it would go, it resonated with Rebecca's power to jump through time. It caused a space-time distortion. In that distortion, I, Rebecca, and the 20,000 antimatter bombs ignited an inexplicably large burst of power. Every antimatter bomb that went off had enough energy to jump forward 1 year in time. And Rebecca and I were thrown 20,000 years into the future. Okay. So I guess, like, because of the way that gravity is messing with space-time, that sounds vaguely correct astrophysics enough. It's correct enough for a shonen battle manga. Like, I can buy that energy, they can, like, move fourth dimensionally in that space, and the bombs can blast them forward. Though it did kill Rebecca, we learned on previous chapters. But yeah, this is a Shiki who, so, like, I don't know, I had a thought when I saw the whole compression plan, and I'm not sure what that thought was. Something about, I don't know, I had it and then now it's gone. I don't know, let's move on. And Shiki questions, and you expect me to believe all that? I'm sure you don't. I didn't believe it myself, but I had no choice but to accept reality. The year X 20,492, the planet Eden. And we see these, like, robotic limbs. And it's Ziggy implanted in this robot body. Which this is Shiki, like, from his perspective, right after the whole thing with the self-destruct bots. So I think that's just an interesting thing to keep in mind for this bit. My body. I'm a bot now. Please calm down, Ziggy. As one of the scientists from last week. And Ziggy, still having the sort of distinction between himself and Ziggy. I'm not Ziggy. I'm Ziggy. He's trying to say Shiki, but I guess it's like his voice modifiers can't do it. Ziggy. Ziggy. And he, like, realizes who he is and what's happened. And the scientists all tell him, calm down. He wasn't ready to be activated. Shut off his power. Where am I? Where is everybody? Where are my friends? And we see sometime later he's been deactivated, just body slumped in the corner. And then he's been reactivated. And the scientist tells him, once we get some better parts, we can rebuild you even better. So just put up with that for now. So here's an interesting thing, because clearly the Ziggy of today looks like Shiki, right? He looks like an older Shiki. Someone who's maybe 20 or so years older, 15 to 20 years older. And I can't imagine that this robot-only society has human-looking parts. You know, there are no humans who would look like a human that doesn't exist. So I don't know. Where does he get that body? I can't imagine these are the better parts that the scientist is talking about. But Ziggy just goes on, I can't remember anything. Was I human? Yes. Originally. But your body was severely damaged. We had to replace it with a mechanical one. So, also, here's something to note. As far as the stars are concerned, the shining stars and the dark stars, is that this is the first time we're definitively seeing a human become a robot, which we know happened to all 8 of them. So, like, humans are supposedly extinct in this time period, so I don't think this is where, like, the shining stars could be from originally. Like, they can't originally be from Universe 2. But it's an interesting, it keeps you know, it's one of those things, like, keep in mind, with all of the various things going on in the story, this does feel connected to that little hook we got a while back. And Shiki sort of realizes his position. Or Ziggy does. I'm a robot. I feel like there was someone else. And the scientist tells him, unfortunately, the woman was too far gone. We couldn't revive her. Rebecca! It's Rebecca! It's Rebecca! I remember. Rebecca, she's my friend. Where is she? Let me see her. As I just told you, she won't care if I'm a robot. She says it doesn't matter if you're human or machine. You can be friends with anyone. He's not listening to the fact that she's dead. He thinks that friendship can still revive, even though there is no Rebecca. Where is she? Oh, very well. This way. And he leads him down a big old hallway, and Shiki sees something. And it's Rebecca's... That's not... That's... I'm trying to work out what to say here. Because that's not, she died and now we're giving her, like, a proper burial or something. That's I mean, if she's dead, it's not quite torture, but it's at least an inhumane unethical experimentation. I don't know. It's a for all the sort of fan servicey elements of it, it's also a really well designed horror shot. I love the little Ziggy in silhouette at the bottom of the page to showcase how terrified he is. She was in even worse shape when we found her. We thought we could at least repair her exterior. And Ziggy just is trembling. No, it's not true. It's not. No, it's not true. It's not true. Don't get too close. She is a valuable research specimen. Even after death, she is emitting an unknown ether signal. Yeah, again, it's just sort of unethical to use dead people as research without their consent. And Ziggy starts to overheat in his rage. What did you do to Rebecca? Don't worry, I'm coming to save you. And the scientists all react, no, shut him down. Shut Ziggy down. Back in the present, Ziggy goes on, 20,000 years in the future, the human race is extinct. It's a world of machines who all believe in Mother. A few decades passed. I almost completely forgot who I was, and I lived like all the other androids. Then one day, and we see that Ziggy has been visiting the sort of strung-up corpse of Rebecca for decades, which I don't know what they did to her to make her not decay, but it's certainly something. As Ziggy tells her, after all these years, you haven't changed. I can't remember who you are anymore, but I'd like to see you alive. I heard that you and I were friends in the distant past. It's hard to believe, but apparently I used to be human too. Of course, I have absolutely no memory of that now. And one of the researchers, maybe the same researcher from decades ago, tells him, Ziggy, we need to talk. And Ziggy turns back, and we see he's at this, council table, is my best guess of what this is. There are 5 bots across from him. I don't know what exactly this is meant to be. Time-traveling ether? So this is something. I guess they got this from Rebecca, as one of the robots tells him, as a result of decades of research on the woman's ether. We've determined that she has the power to distort space-time and travel through time. This means there's hope. There is hope. We tried to come up with some kind of plan. Maybe now we can accomplish one. Plan for what? What is going on there? As Ziggy reacts, but wait, what are you talking about? Ziggy, you are a big part of all of this. The cosmoses have lost Mother and are on the path to destruction. Eventually, the ether will run out, and the life functions of every android in the cosmoses will cease. Okay, I want to pair that scene up with what Ziggy has said about destroying Mother. I think it was in 199. About destroying Mother, he would wipe out all organic life. But this council of robot elder guys are saying that destroying Mother would also destroy androids? Because she, I guess, is the creation of ether. Which, I can see what the plan is here. Send Ziggy back in time to find Mother, and maybe that leads to him losing his memories at one point, which is, the time travel goes wrong or something, that leads to the benevolent Ziggy from the past. I don't know. The life functions of every android in the cosmoses will cease. We must restore the cosmoses to what they are meant to be. A world where Mother exists, and where humankind flourishes. Oh, so the council wants to bring back humanity, and I guess an alternate timeline. As Ziggy questions, this is before his human genocide plans. Humankind? Yes, we think the extinction of humans led to the loss of Mother. Without Mother, the cosmos' ether is diminishing, and now we androids too are nearing our end. But Ziggy questions, I still don't quite understand what you're saying. Ziggy, have you heard of the power called the Eye of God? That was Noah's ability, and also cures or feathers? One of the two, I think feathers. It is the power to observe alternate worlds, parallel universes, other worlds different from our own, different timelines. We call them universes. There appear to be an infinite number of them, but we have been observing them for more than 10,000 years. But humans go extinct 20,000 years ago, and the cosmos' ether dries up, in nearly every one of them, all except point 0. Universe 0, That is the world where all time converges. I'm not specifying which of these guys are talking, because right now they're all basically the same character. But anyway, even with our technology, we cannot observe it. Thus, we may say it is the only world with the potential for a better outcome. But this is all very interesting because, like, Ziggy is fighting against this. He is fighting to create the same hell universe that ends up wiping out all life. So what changes in him? What changes where he decides to destroy humanity instead of preserve it? And there's a nice little bit of, like, you know, of the council sends, if I'm right, they send Ziggy back in time to preserve humanity, and then and that action is the reason humanity goes extinct. There's a nice irony there. Though I'll hold off all judgment until the end of the chapter, and we really get to see full out what Mashima is going for here. There is a strong possibility that the events in Universe Zero affect those of all other universes. And that, Ziggy, is where you come in. You are to use the woman's ether to go to Universe Zero, 20,000 years in the past, and prevent the extinction of the human race. But he didn't. He went to Universe 1, I thought. I don't know. But Ziggy protests, wait, a mission like that, I couldn't. Only you can do this. You were a human that lived 20,000 years ago, and now you are an android. You have the heart of both kinds. And Ziggy protests, but I have no memories of being human. Don't worry. If anyone can do it, you can. But how can I go 20,000 years into the past? We will build a ship. And it's the cube. It's Rebecca's B cube that has the name Ship to Travel Across Space-Time. The Eden Zero. A ship going from the planet Eden to Point Zero. Which disproves my long-running theory that the Eden Zero and the Eden's 1 are binary references. And that, like, you know, 0 is the null without memories and 1 is the full with memories. But, okay, there's just a lot to unravel here. And honestly, this is the kind of chapter that, until we wrap up this flashback/forward, we don't really... It's hard to work out where Mashima is going with this. Because until we find out what happens to make Shiki turn, or make Ziggy turn, to make him go from wanting to be the savior of humanity to its destruction, it's hard to quite work out what's going on here. But for starters, there's some really good, like, setup work here. We'll see if Mashima sticks the landing. The end of this flashback, we find out why Ziggy went from a potential savior to its destruction, and whatever cruel irony, you know, led him to be the cause of his own mission. I just remember thinking about, and this is not quite tied to anything, but there's the scene at the end of the Aoi War where he was talking with Elsie, right? Where he and Elsie had a quick conversation on Nero 1 about, like, it doesn't matter, even if the universe has changed, humanity still goes extinct. Because, as the Council has told him here, no matter what they do, humanity always goes extinct. In every universe. There's nothing she can do to change that. Which, I don't know. I don't even, like, quite have the words to describe my questions yet. Because, like, what happened is just the big question. Is, like, what the fuck happened to get here? How, like, did he... Because there's the whole question of, was he originally... You know, Ziggy says he was originally built towards human genocide, and then he lost his memories for a while and wanted to help people and help Shiki, and I'm gonna come back to a thought I just had. And then he gained his memories back. But this is implying that his original form was good, wanted to save humanity, perhaps. But back to the thought I just had. I'm remembering that scene. There's all these little scenes that are, like, coming into play now that we have this reveal. When Ziggy mentions if he had had his memories when he met Shiki, he would have just killed him then and there. That's actually really interesting. Now that I say that part out loud, even my thought wasn't quite that thought out yet. But out loud, he wanted to kill himself. He wanted to not go through this cycle? Question mark. Because if he's realized that he's eternally going through this endless cycle of he's born, he fights, he blows up, he goes to the future, he becomes Ziggy, he goes back, he creates himself to do the whole damn thing all over again. The fact that he wanted to kill Shiki, is a freedom, is his own suicide attempt almost. I don't know. I'm looking forward to the anime adapting this whole set of arcs. Just so in hindsight, I can see the sorts of things that have changed. The sort of things that have new meaning, knowing who Ziggy is. Because I imagine there's going to be a whole ton of them. I don't know. The reveal itself, the reveal that Shiki is Ziggy, wasn't that big. It wasn't that surprising. It was sort of theorized for a while. It was big, of course, but it wasn't that surprising. This was a theory that's been going around for a good while now. But seeing exactly what happened to make him into Ziggy is bringing up all these questions. What happened? Why is Ziggy's goal seemingly on every level antithetical to what his original goal was? Why does gaining his memories get rid of the original goal? There's just all these questions that this flashback raises. And I can't wait to find out what the answers are. Because every single thing is just, I need to know more. Next week can't get here soon enough. But Ziggy now has his plan to go back to the past. We get a bit of a bootstrap paradox also with the Eden Zero. And where did the name come from? It came from itself, but also it came from the sort of metaphor from Planet Eden and Universe Zero were not named after the Eden Zero, but also that concept going from Eden to Point Zero is central to why the bots went along with that name. The bootstrap paradox normally, if I recall correctly, has no source. But this does have a source. It just creates its own source. There's a distinct moment when they have a ship going from the planet Eden to Point Zero. I don't know. It's interesting. That's more a fun fact than anything super plot series. But there still is just all these little bits that I just want to know more about. That's my takeaway. It's a sort of first part of a flashback that promises all the answers, and you just want the rest of the answers. So with that said, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe or, do whatever makes you happy, And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!